So you went on a trip recently.
I did go on a trip. I flew American Airlines, and our flight was delayed going out. And then coming back, it was delayed in the air. And we had to run to make our connecting flight. So I haven't been in the airports in a while. So seeing all that stuff again was when's the last time we flew? Probably 2020.
One, I think. Together, I guess.
Oh yeah, because that's right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So 20, even further back than I was thinking.
Yeah.
So
height of COVID, I think.
So I hadn't been, through an airport or anything like that. And apparently people complain about American Airlines too, specifically. Then there were crazy things like when we were flying out, they were like, "Oh, sorry, we've had the wrong plane sitting here at the gate. So we need to go find." They literally said, "We need to go find the correct plane, and we'll get back to you guys." And I think it was literally an hour later, they were like, "Okay, we're getting the plane ready to go for you guys. We found it. It was over in this yard," and da 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 da. So nonetheless, it was a very good flight though. A lot less congested than I pictured the seating being. I don't know why I just freak out about sitting, next to, I guess, two other people, but it was a very comfortable flight, a short flight over to Dallas, and then from Dallas to Eugene. Eugene was a very interesting town when Oregon. Eugene, Oregon. So flew to Oregon, got a rental car in Oregon, and then drove down towards the redwoods, and then made our way back up. So the lowest I think we went was Crescent City, maybe a little bit past Crescent City, a little more south, and then made our way back
that's in California, right?
Yes, yep. So it was a 2-3 day thing, and one of those things where there was no plan. We were just going to, whenever we were going to do whatever we were going to do that day, drive, sightsee, and then wherever we landed, we'd find a hotel to stay in for the night. And then in the morning, same thing, get up, pack, go travel, drive again, sightsee. One of the coolest places we went to, I will say, for the redwood, to see the redwoods, we did go to Jedediah, which I guess is the national park there for the redwoods. But I was much more intrigued when we went to the Trees of Mystery. I don't know if anyone listening has ever been to the Trees of Mystery, and I kept saying the Tree of Mysteries, and I kept getting corrected. They're like, no.
It's Trees of Mystery?
Trees of Mystery. And that was really cool because not only did they have facts about the redwood, which you want to know those things, how long has this redwood been here? How old is this thing? What kind of redwood is this? So the Trees of Mystery definitely had more museum type fact things around, so you could learn about the different kinds of trees that were out there. Not all of them were redwoods either. There were several different species of trees, which is pretty cool. But then you also got to go up this staircase and walk across, I don't even know what they call those things.
The rope bridge thing that you sent me the video of?
Yes,
yeah.
where you can you're walking
it's a suspended
Yes, up
bridge.
in the trees. So that was pretty cool. Kind of scary. I was like, oh, these things are holding us up. This is kind of scary because it's just wood and rope and carabiners holding you up. So you're like, I don't know about this. But that was very cool. We even took a gondola thing, it takes you up in the redwoods, and then you get to check it out up there, and then you get to come down. So that was very cool. Trees of Mystery was an awesome place.
So was it a big park, a big national, or
no,
a big park you drive in and drive around?
No. It wasn't a giant park. It was actually a relatively decently small park. You could very easily take your grandma or take someone through this place. That's how easy it was. But it was Paul Bunyan themed.
Oh, okay.
Paul Bunyan, they had cool wood carvings of what was it, sourdough Sam? So I scratched out the Sam and put your name, sourdough. That's so funny. And it was a little chef guy with a hat. So that was pretty cool. And it was cool. I don't know much about the folk tale of Paul Bunyan. I don't know about that story. Apparently he was a giant dude that found an ox or something. I don't even know. What's his bull or something?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, Paul Bunyan was fucking you learned about Paul Bunyan, like talking about
Yeah.
like Paul Bunyan's footprints were what caused the Great Lakes when he was walking, you know, and this big giant doing
wow.
things, and then and I forget what his oxen's name was, but yeah, Paul Bunyan probably got canceled because he was too white in his folklore, and they had to find somebody else. And
Yeah, I've never even like I know the name Paul Bunyan, but I've honestly I didn't know the story of Paul Bunyan. I had no clue of the story of Paul Bunyan.
it's just a fun folklore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which and that's kind of like that explains this park very well. It was just like a fun park. Like one of the things had like 4 different male characters, and it was like Handsy Han and stuff like this. And my friend, we were like, oh, there's your boyfriends, like all 4 of them. Like it was a very fun time. And like I said, it was a relatively quick excursion to go through too. It wasn't like an all day thing. I think we were there for like a couple of hours.
The Trees of Mystery place?
Yes, yeah. And so once we finished up, of course, like we stopped in at these little beaches. We even we wanted to go down, when we were still in Oregon, we wanted to go out to the beach because you can see it from, I don't know what the main highway is.
101 or something,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And
yeah.
you can see like literally just like, it's a beach with no one there. And so I just get on my maps and I'm like, oh yeah, it says beach access right here. So we go and park, and it was like a campsite place. But I guess it's where they take their horses. Like you can rent a horse to do a ride down to the beach. And so we're like walking through the trail that the horses take. We probably definitely weren't supposed to be on that trail. But we made it out finally, I think after a mile of trekking, made it out to the beach. And it was just like the most incredible thing. The beaches in Florida are pretty amazing, especially on the East Coast, that southeast side. But this was like just a whole different vibe. This was like almost like a somber vibe mixed with the, like, it was, because it was like foggy still
Yeah.
kind of, and like kind of wet. And it had like, I don't know, just like a kind of eerie vibe, but it was, you know, the vastness of being by the ocean though, like that feeling. So it was just a very cool, different experience than being like in the Keys on
Yeah.
crystal blue water. Like this was a whole different, like,
Not the tropical experience, but still.
oh, amazing
Yeah.
still. And just so like, I can't even explain it. Like the beaches are massive there. So like we had this whole beach to ourselves. I remember like looking around when we got out there, and there was like literally not a soul on this beach. In fact, I laughed because there was a buzzard, and I was like, oh, it probably thinks we're gonna die after trekking out here this far. So
I mean, and y'all were there in summertime.
yes, and that's what people, I had never been to a Fred Meyer's before, but I guess that's their Kroger
Yeah.
in Oregon.
Yeah.
And so we were chit-chatting with some of the people that work there, because I was like, I need a jacket, I need a beanie, I didn't expect it to be this cold. And that place actually sold like Carhartt, Levi, like it,
Really?
it was like it was almost like a Target is what
Yeah.
it reminded me of. And so one of the ladies that was working there, she was like, yeah, this is odd for Oregon. Like our summers are usually much hotter than this. Because we woke up one morning and it was cold and rainy.
It was in
wet.
the 50s when y'all were there, right?
Yeah.
Like for lows.
Yeah. But that's so funny too. Like I hate being cold. I'm like such a tiny person, so I get cold so easily. And after a couple days, you learn to like really love that kind of cold. I was like, maybe I can move here, but then I was thinking, oh no, this
Get
is
used to putting on a light little jacket. And
yeah, it was nice. It was very
pants.
nice. Just a different vibe. One of the coolest little towns that we stopped in, just as a random stop in, was a town called Bandon, Oregon. And it was pretty cool. Like it had, when you're driving into the town, it had like the big archway that said "Welcome to Bandon,"
Yeah.
like a cool little
like
like
an announcement. You're
yes,
coming in. Yeah.
it was so cool. And then when we got down there, we parked by like the dock thing they had, and it was really cool. There were, of course, the fishermen out putting their, and I should have taken a picture, I'm sure I did, of the boat ramp. Like the boat ramp was literally like this.
Really?
I was like, how
Going
are
down
people,
into the ocean?
yeah. For like and they were all closed boats too, so I assume they're like going out to like, I don't know what they
Was there
do.
like a little harbor area where all the
There
boats
was,
were
yeah,
then, obviously?
yeah. But they weren't parked. Like there weren't boats parked. They were like getting in the water and then going out to the ocean. But we walked out there and saw an otter, actually,
Oh,
a
that's
little
cool.
otter swimming. And so that was like, I've never seen one in person before. So
That's
that was
cool.
really cool to see one. And he like swam, and then all the rocks that are under the dock right there, I guess it had a home down in there somewhere. So it disappeared. But that was super cool. And one thing that was very cool about Bandon was not only did it like emanate sea vibes, ocean town, coastal town, they actually had artwork across the whole, like if you think like the fence line is the dock, which it literally like was all the way this way, they had artwork pinned all the way along the fence lines and a number on each one. So one section was like all the adult artwork all the way down the dock, and then this way was like all the children's artwork all the way down the dock. And you could vote at the boat stand of which artwork you liked the most. And so like that was such a you felt community when you went into that
Right.
town. Like you could just feel that in that town.
So did they like, was there new artwork that they'd put up like every month or something, or
I'm-
every 6 months or once a year? Or
I'm
did
not
it look like the
sure.
same old artwork that had been there for years?
You know what's so funny? No, it hadn't been there for years. It was definitely newer stuff. But it was so funny. We're amazed by this. We're like taking pictures, and we're like, this is so cool. They had a mermaid statue and like just statue and like artwork built out of recycled pieces everywhere. So these old ladies were walking by us, and they literally said something like hang up and hang out, like get off your phones, and we were like, mind your own business, like we love that we're taking pictures of this, but
Shut up, bitch.
yeah, it was like, oh my gosh, we were like, we're tourists, we're not from here. Even one guy was like, y'all smell too good to be going fishing. We were like, no, we're not going fishing. But that Bandon was a very, very unique, cool little town. And they even had a public restroom right down there by the docks. And it was like the cleanest public restroom I've ever been to in my life. And it was like a completely open restroom too, like no front door on the entryway. And I was like shocked at how clean it was. It was very nice. Not a lot of homeless there either. Eugene had a ton of homeless people, like down at the skate park, kind of like what you see in Austin.
Yeah.
That's what that vibe was.
Just they've created it.
Yes, and
They foster it.
there was like I don't even know if it was a woman or a man, but it was like walking down the street in panties only. Like it was pretty hectic in Eugene. Like we were like, okay, how do we get out of here super fast? But that was pretty cool. And then I would have to say probably the top thing that I saw for the whole trip was when we went to Crater Lake. That was like, Crater Lake is more inland, and we were not, it was like a 4-hour trip to go that way.
And is that in California, or is that?
No, it's in Oregon still. So on our way, Crescent City was like our last stop to see the redwoods and stuff. Then driving back up, we were like, do we just go straight to Eugene, or do we want to go to this Crater Lake? And so we were like, screw it, like we're only here once, let's drive, let's take the 4-hour trip to Crater Lake. Well, we get there, and at first you're just like driving, and all you see is like a big mountain thing. So you're like still driving up. Well, when you got to the top, like I remember sending you pictures, and I was like, these pictures look edited. They're not. Like that blue is the color of the water. It was insanely breathtaking. And not only was the water crystal blue, but there was snow still up on the mountains.
It's crazy.
So we were like having a snowball fight, and then just a few minutes down the road, you park at the, I forget what it was called, Cove something trail. Man, I wish I could remember. Cove something trail, and that's like the only accessible point down to the water in Crater Lake where you can swim.
Around the whole thing.
Around the
There's
whole,
only one trail
yes,
that
there's
goes-
only one trail. And so it was so funny on our way down, the people coming up, we were like, man, people are like, these people are winded, like almost in an ego sense of like, oh, this will be easy for us. And so on the
Just
way
wait till
up,
you see me coming back up.
yeah, on the way up, I was like, oh my God, I realized why people were making this face. The incline going back up was insane. I remember looking back at my Garmin, and it was like around 7 o'clock when we made our way back up the trail. And like my heart rate on my Garmin was like spiked all the way up from going up that trail. But we got to go down there and swim, and there's no like dock that you get on and jump off. Like it's all rocks, like the sea lions would lay on, all huge giant rocks. And then everyone just like gets in, or you sit there and chill. A lot of people were just chilling. But we got in the water. The water was cold. I believe it was in the 50s that day. We looked like at the water temp. And I'm not going to lie, it took your breath away for a few seconds. But man, once you got swimming in that water, it was almost like a baptism almost. I remember my friend being like, my sins are washed away. And I was like, no, I don't think those sins go away. But it was just like so amazing to be a part of something that was like just so much bigger than yourself. And they're shutting that trail down soon for like the next 5 years or something to do renovations. So it was also pretty cool to know that we were some of the last few to go see it, you know?
Yeah. This is a dumb question, but that lake, the Crater Lake, that's freshwater, right? It's not saltwater? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, it's freshwater.
Freshwater. And I was reading...
Did you taste it? Did you...
I mean, I got it like in my mouth, but I was a little... I mean, it was like crystal clear water.
So I wonder, like, it's probably not spring fed. I would think it's just from like snow runoff that feeds the lake. I wonder, did they say?
I'm gonna ask, but let me look up right now. But I believe they were like, I feel like I read something about like you can drink the water, like it's completely clean water. Now I wouldn't want to be drinking where everyone's swimming, but let me see.
Yeah, well, because one of the things that like a big concern with drinking water just out of rivers or streams or ponds, of course, is even if you have fresh running water, a big problem is like animal waste runoff, Mm-hmm. So you have just animals, obviously, and they use the restroom on the ground next to the river, and that gets washed into the river, and then you go to drink it and consume it. I wonder because... I mean, if there was snow on the ground up there, you had to be at higher elevations, so just...
So this thing says, Crater Lake in Oregon gets its water primarily from, and this is Grok, by the way, gets its water primarily from precipitation, mainly snowfall due to its high elevation of about 6,100 feet.
Wow.
Almost 6,200 feet above sea level. The lake formed in a caldera of Mount Mazama after a massive volcano eruption around 7,700 years ago. It has no inlets or outlets, making it a closed basin system. Snow melt and rainfall directly into the caldera provide nearly all the water, with an average annual precipitation of about 66 inches.
Holy shit.
Mostly as snow in the winter. Some water comes from minor springs fed by groundwater within the caldera walls, though these contribute a small fraction compared to the precipitation.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Wow. So yeah, and I'm telling you, like, the water was... I stayed in there for a little bit, but tiny me, I was like, okay, I'm starting to shiver. I got to get out. And so you lay on the rocks and you just like soak in that sun that was shining. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I wonder what people, so I'm sure people go there during the wintertime, but obviously, were y'all the only people swimming, or were there other people swimming?
Oh, no. That's what, at first we were like, okay, like we see some people with bathing suits, but like we wanted to get in the water, but we were like, okay, is it too cold to get in the water right now? And then once you got down enough in the trail, you could actually see the rocks, and people were just like swimming all over the place. So that's when we were like, okay, let's go. We're like jogging down the thing to get to the water.
That's badass.
It was awesome. So, and that Crater Lake is apparently like one of the 7 wonders of Oregon itself. Yeah. So that was pretty cool to experience.
I mean, the pictures you sent me, and you texted me that, you're like, this is one of the 7 wonders in Oregon. I'm like, holy shit, like this should be one of the 7 wonders of the United States.
Yeah,
I mean, North America, it's just a beautiful, I've never been there, but, or to much of the other parts of the continent, but the parts you showed me of Crater Lake, and just like you were saying, the unedited photos, and it was like you sent me photos from Google Images that had been, like AI almost, like generated, and
you could see the snow still a little bit on the snow caps.
Yeah, and that's, that was one of the things. I'm like, that's snow, and you sent me the video or whatever, y'all throwing snowballs. I'm like, how is this? Where are you?
Yeah, and then we're swimming 5 minutes later.
Yeah,
that was like absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah, but just a few hours before, y'all were on the coast, the Pacific coast of Oregon or California, wherever you were.
That's one thing that was really cool to experience there is like a little bit of both worlds. So like even some points when you were driving, I want to say more towards California, you literally had woods and forest on your left if you were driving south. You had them, or excuse me, on this side. And then on this side, you had, on your right, you had sand dunes. Like literal, like what you see in freaking, in Padre Island and stuff. Like the actual sand dunes and stuff. Like it was very cool to experience kind of like all the things you love in one area, you know? And the temperature was just like pretty much ideal for the most part. Like it was a great time to go out, so.
Was that you mentioned the sea otter. That wasn't the only animals y'all saw.
No, we were in a place called Elk Valley, just for like a little gas station stop, just get some drinks and stuff. And there were two, and it was so funny, my friend was like, they're not real. And I'm like, no, they're moving. Those are real elks. And it was like two elks sitting down right at the entrance of this gas station. And they looked massive from where they were away from you. So I could only imagine. And that was my thing. I was like, these elk are just loose out here? Like that's kind of crazy, but they just kept to themselves.
Man, I envy the people that get to hunt elk. I mean, they're just like one of the best tasting animals, and they have so much meat on them, you know? Like
they were big, yeah.
New Mexico and Colorado, they have a lot of elk up there, and never hunted elk, but always wanted to, especially compared, you know, like white-tailed deer we have around here. I mean, they're like fucking dogs. You know, people like, they're like, oh, they're small. You get an elk, that's like a damn cow, you know? I mean, it's like they call the female elk cows for a reason, I guess.
We also saw a ton of chipmunks all over the place. Little bitty chipmunks.
I didn't know that.
There was one that like came down the thing, and I was like, hi, buddy, talking to it. And it came down more, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to come down here, but it didn't. It turned around and went back. But chipmunks absolutely everywhere. And then we even saw in the Jedediah National Redwood Forest a banana slug, which apparently
that's so cool.
At the gift shop for the Trees of Mystery place, they had like a whole section of just like banana slug magnets, banana slug, like everything banana slug. So apparently they're like good luck or something if you see them. And so, of course, we had to, it was so funny because when you're driving back through the Jedediah National Forest, there's no parking lot. Like you just find a pull off on the side of the road. And so the one spot that we just randomly chose, there was literally a giant banana slug like crawling on
cool.
And it was the only one we saw the whole trip. So I was like, how crazy that right where we parked.
How big was it? Was it like small like
No,
this?
it was probably this big when it was erect. And when you touched it, it kind of like, it started to shrivel up and it got about that big.
Really?
But it was completely slimy
Should
too.
call it a dick slug.
So I picked it up and I dropped it on accident because it was so slimy on the outside that it slipped out of my hand. So then my friend got it. She had it in her hand, and when we took it off of her hand, there was literally like a freaking, it was like sticky, super sticky, like, I don't even know, slime. I don't even know what that, it was gross though, it was crazy.
When y'all first flew in, I remember you sent me a picture and a video when y'all first got to the coast. Y'all went to some caves or something like that?
Oh, the sea lion caves.
Yes, the sea lion caves,
Yes.
Yeah, how was that?
That was one of the first places we went because I guess it's really close right there to Eugene somewhere. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah. Oh, the sea, you'll get a kick out of this. And I don't think I've told you this yet. So the Sea Lion Caves is like on the corner of a turn on the roadway, and the parking lot's on the other side.
Of the road?
Of the road.
So you have to walk across the road to get to the...
Yes, but the thing is, there's a curve right there.
So you can't see.
So you cannot see. So like, at one point, I didn't realize how cold it was going to be on that side of the coast, and you're like on the edge of the coastline right there, going down to see the sea lions. So I went back to grab my jacket real quick from the car, and when I was coming back with like a mom, dad, and a little girl, a family, and like we were like trying to listen, and like I'm like, okay, I think it's good, and like right as we go to run across, a truck pulling a camper is like going way faster than any car I've seen. Like people kind of slow down right there. You can tell this camper was cruising, so we all take off running. We're like, oh my God, we all almost died together right there. So it was funny. It was a crazy spot for them to put their.
Could you not hear like the traffic coming because the ocean was right there?
Well,
and
and
just windy and
right
everything
where the
else,
curve is, like you almost couldn't hear right away. So just on that side, it was I was like, it's crazy that they put the parking lot right.
Yeah.
Like this is pretty. It was a big safety thing for sure. So you got a little like adrenaline boost before you
build a bridge or tunnel, you know? Like,
yeah, a little walkway or something.
like at a Haulover Beach, they have the tunnels that
exactly,
go underneath
yeah.
A1A from
That's
the
what
parking
they
lot
need.
side to the beach side.
That's what they need. So, so yeah, you get to, there's two different, there's like a main lookout spot at the Sea Lion Caves where you can see the entrance of the cave from the outside, and the ton of them are just laying down in there. Or you can walk over and take the elevator down in the caves, and like the elevator, I think I sent you a picture of how far down it went. It went pretty far down, and so you're in this elevator for like much longer than you're usually in an elevator.
Feels like you're stuck.
Yeah, so it's funny. We were all joking and laughing, and you're in there with other people too that you
Yeah.
don't know. So it was a good time. But then you get to go stand where you can see the actual sea lions resting inside the cave on the rock. And it was funny seeing the power like trips between them. Like this one younger, you could tell, much younger, smaller sea lion. He came up and like kicked this big sea lion off the main rock spot. And it's so funny watching them climb down too, because they only use their little
Yeah,
fins.
it's like flop.
So you know they have muscle, because I was like, that thing's gonna fall, and they're slippery, but like no, they've got grip and they can get around apparently. I was thinking, dude, if they had triceps, their triceps are insane from like lifting them up and pulling them back and stuff. And then you see some of them fighting, and like it was just really cool. Also in the Sea Lion Caves, I noticed, I don't know what bird species it was, but there was a bird species in there. And you could just tell everything was like just coexisting in there, like
Right.
a happy little,
Circle of life.
Yeah, it was that was pretty cool. Pretty cool to see the sea lions in person too.
Were they eating anything? Like, did they have fish? Were they catching fish? The sea lions? Or were
No,
they just like hanging out?
I'm sure they do, but they were
I mean, I
just.
guess sea lions eat fish. I don't even know.
Yeah,
So-
I would assume so too, and I bet there's pretty good fish where they were at on the coast right there.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful spot. But yeah, I didn't see any eating anything, but some of them were pretty aggressive. They'd start fighting with each other and stuff, and you were like, oh, they're fighting, it's going down. Like it was funny to watch.
Big too, man. They can
Very
they're
big.
mean. They can.
Well,
they're
that's
fighting each
what,
other.
when they would bump them, I'd be worried like their big ass is gonna fall down the rocks or something, because they were climbed up the rocks. It was like piles of rocks that they had to climb. So it was just very interesting to watch. That was our very first stop on the trip, was to the
Right.
Sea Lion Caves.
I wonder why. I think the Pacific Coast has sea lions. I mean, y'all saw sea lions up there. I know there's sea lions in San Francisco. I know there's sea lions down in Cabo San Lucas.
I was actually reading, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was actually reading that these sea lions here came out of nowhere right as the same time the San Francisco sea lions disappeared. So they think that those are the sea lions that apparently like a bunch of, I bet I have a picture of it still
But
too.
there's still sea lions in San Francisco.
No, there are, but apparently there was a time where there was none where we were
It was
at.
a big.
Yes, and then
something
all of
that
a
happened.
sudden a bunch went missing in San Francisco. They were like, whoa, where's the sea lion population? And these sea lions came up, yeah.
They're like, fuck you, San Francisco.
Yeah, they're like, I'm out.
There's a bunch of shit on the streets. We're leaving.
Yeah, this was pretty cool. Super cool place to see. Man, I didn't take a picture of it, darn it. But yeah, it was very, very cool. And then yeah, Baker Beach was where we got out on the beach, because you had to walk literally through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all of that. So we found the camp spot
Jeez.
and walked through there, yeah. So Baker Beach was where we were at. Just amazing place. And it was funny, when we were in Eugene, it was like 90. I had pants on from being in the airport, so I changed into shorts. And then by the time we got to where the Sea Lion Caves was, remember I had called you?
Yeah.
It had dropped.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even, like 30 degrees
Yeah,
or
it's like
something.
in the 50s
It was crazy.
like low 60s. I'm like, and it was just a few hours, like 2 or 3 hours that it took y'all to drive from.
And it was cold too.
Yeah.
Like it was a whole different. So then when we got to the sea lion caves, I'm like changing out of my shorts, back into pants, grabbing a jacket. I was
Yeah.
not prepared for like the cold at all.
Yeah, I could, we've talked about like living in colder climates, and it's fun to think about, I think, like in the summertime when it's fucking hot,
Yeah.
especially in Texas, and you think about like, oh, what I'd give to be in a cooler environment, and then, but then you go, I don't know, where y'all were at is different. You're on, you're at lower elevations, I guess, other than going up to Crater Lake, but like,
Yeah.
when we were in Colorado a couple years ago during the summertime, it's like, man, you're so fucking, and we were up in the mountains, it's like your fucking lips go dry, everything starts drying out.
Yes.
You got altitude sickness.
Yes.
And so it's like, I guess we'll stick to the lower elevations.
I'm surprised that I didn't, because we were going up and down in elevation quite a bit with the hiking that we're doing and stuff like that. And like, I'm surprised I didn't get sick at all. Like not.
Well, yeah, I mean, 6,000 feet's really high, but in Colorado where we were at, it was like 11,000 feet we were at. I mean, it's fucking way up there. So,
Dude, and the driver started getting crazy on them curves. I was like, girl, you gotta slow down. They're not like Texas hills are so different than Oregon, California hills.
Yeah.
And like, I remember just
like
at
fall
one
off the
point,
side.
fall off the side, and then it's like this the whole way. Like when we were going to Crater Lake, all that inland stuff was like a lot of curvy. Like I was like, okay, starting to get a little sick
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Overall, it was a great trip. And then coming home, our flight back was like delayed in the air. They had to stay in the air for like 30 extra minutes. And then when they finally landed, which at this point when we were in the air, we probably had 30 minutes until our next flight, our connecting flight. Well, we sit in the air for 30 minutes. We finally land, and they're like, sorry guys, there's a plane in our gate right now, so we gotta get this. They're gonna tow this plane out, and then we'll be able to. And we're like, come on. So we finally got off the plane, literally ran, got to the subway Amtrak thing right as they were closing it for the D terminal that we were trying to go to. So we had to sit there for 1 minute and wait for like the next train to show up. And then we finally get on it, we book it to the terminal and get there right as they're boarding for the next. So we were like, glad we made that.
I used to be, I remember when I was a kid, like I was so, like I loved to fly. Like the thought of flying was so, tantalizing to me, and being able to fly and the airport experience and all that kind of stuff. And then of course 9/11 happened, and then after that, like everything changed. We went to, I graduated in 2002 high school, and we had a senior trip planned, and we went to Cancun, and that was the first time flying post 9/11. And I just remember we flew out of San Antonio, and like it was such a big like change just from, and this is still like pre-TSA and Homeland Security and all that other bullshit that they have now that just completely fucking violates all your rights and your sanctity. But
well, and it's sorry, you can finish.
Oh, I was just going to say, and now it's like, from there to today, of course, the last time I flew to Nashville, I think in 2022. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, today, like, I'd rather fucking drive.
Oh, I would
like,
much rather, yeah.
I would just rather drive than fucking have to go listen to these dipshits at TSA. I mean, like, I think anybody listening to this right now, if you've flown more than a handful of times in the past 5 years, especially 10 years, you've all had experiences, or of somebody who's had experiences. I remember I was going through the airport, and this was in San Antonio, I think 7, 8 years ago, and I'm walking through it. I'm by myself, and I get through the metal detectors, where you put your fucking shit on the conveyor belt, and then they scan it, you go through, and then you pick it up, and then you go to your gate. Right at that moment, when I walked through and I was waiting to get my stuff, sometimes they tell you, oh, you need to step off to the side for like a further inspection or something like that. And then some of those are randomized, so they said. And they had a mom and 2 twin little girls, probably about 3 or 4 years old. And they weren't inspecting and searching the mom. She wasn't flagged. It was the 2 little girls that they had off to the side, and they were fucking searching them. And I'm just thinking, like, what a fucking travesty this is.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I fucking hate the TSA. I fucking hate the government and all that dumb bullshit that they...
I do as well. I was joking with him. Like, my friend was like, shut the fuck up the whole time. But, like, you know me, I just love to, like, joke around and stuff. So when the TSA people, when we were coming back, and you got to put your backpack up there and stuff. Well, going through TSA the first time, I left a freaking Alani can in my backpack. And so, of course, it triggers. I did not remember that it was in there. So they're like, oh, we need to inspect this bag. So then I'm thinking, what did I leave in my, like, I literally can't think of anything I would have left in my bag that would have got it flagged. And then the lady just like puts gloves on and pulls my Alani. And she just looks so disappointed. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
At least it wasn't a big dildo.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, oh, shit.
But then coming back, I was joking because like the big thing with TSA now is like, you don't have to take your shoes off. And so I was like, oh, I don't need to take my shoes off, right? And my friend was like, shut the fuck up. And the guy's like, no, you're good, actually.
Thank you, Mr. TSA,
exactly.
man, for not making me take my fucking flip-flops
But
off.
then not my friend, but the person next to her, another girl, my friend said that she got flagged. They like came up to her and was like, hey, you've been chosen for a random, like you need to stay once you go through the thing. I just like, that stuff is so crazy. So definitely don't like dealing with that. And when we left Eugene, it was weird. When we were flying out of Eugene, like, you know, you go to the thing to get your bags checked and stuff. Well, our person didn't get there till literally an hour before the flight. So there was a line blocking the door, everything. And we were American Airlines was the only one that didn't have, like, everyone else booking, moving, okay, bag, check in. And, like, they were all just staring at the American Airlines line that had a flight going out in an hour. And I guess those workers don't need to be there till right at an hour before. So they came right at an hour before to check everyone's bags. It was crazy.
Bare minimum.
But then, like, they got stuck. Like, of course, they have 2 people working, and, like, one person was stuck the whole time because they had an issue with someone's stuff. So it's like, now you're only down to one person. Right. And so, yeah, definitely don't enjoy the, what's the right word? Like, the...
chaos, if you will.
The chaos and, like, the layers of process that go into that is just, like, a little unnecessary. And fun fact, I get a little motion sick sometimes. So when we landed in Eugene, I was thinking as the plane was just, you know how they just like kind of cruise to their, once they land, they kind of just drive around and cruise. Well, I was sitting there contemplating, like, do I grab my bag and throw up in it, or do I run to the bathroom right now? And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to throw up, run to the bathroom. So I run to the bathroom, and the flight attendants are still, like, buckled into their seats back there. So they're like, no, you're not supposed to be up right now. And I was like, I know, I'm just about to throw up, and I didn't want to throw up. And they, like, rolled their eyes and was just like, fine, go. So I went in there and, like, almost threw up. The movement helped me. Getting up and walking helped with the heat that I was feeling. And I tried to throw up to make myself feel better, and I came out, and both the flight attendants were so nice. They were like, do you want a Sprite? We're so sorry. Here's a bag. I was like, thank you so much. Yeah. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just did not want to throw up on everyone. Yeah. Figured y'all would appreciate not having to clean up, throw up over that. So, yeah, it was overall a very great trip. I cannot complain.
It's so interesting to see, like, the personalities in airports. Like, you think, like, flight attendants and stuff, and, like, the people that work at the gates are, like, the most patient people. They sit there and get yelled at all fucking day by people that are frustrated and pissed off, and they keep a smile on their face and just do their thing. And then you have, like, the TSA government workers that fucking hate their lives. They hate you. They're entitled. They are God and the gateway to your destination, and they know that. And they're... Yeah.
It was very interesting, I will say, flying out of San Antonio. The bag check guy was like not smiling, and like, you know us, we're joking around, we're having a good time. He was like not smiling. You could tell very unhappy to be there to do his job. And so like I just like complimented him, trying to get him to feel better, you know. Yeah. But then when we went to the TSA part, the TSA people were so happy, and like it made for so. I even told the guy that I even said like, thank you for being in such a good mood, because this makes this such a better experience than dealing with like a TSA person that hates their fucking job and does not want to be there and does not want to be doing like, you could just tell the people that were working right there really enjoyed working with each other, enjoyed being there.
Yep.
And I even said that to them. I said, thank you so much. I honestly threw the bagger guy under the bus. I was like, that check-in guy was not very happy, but you guys, this is a much more pleasant experience.
Well, that's good, and good for, obviously, like they have a good little system that runs there in San Antonio, or that little group, their little manager that's in charge of them. They got a good thing going. And sounds like that manager or whoever and those people should be promoted up through the system, because we all know that most of TSA is not like that.
No, and that's why I even took the time to compliment them, because I was like, especially, when you're having to like put your bag up and your watch and your glasses and you go through the metal, like that's such a big ordeal already. So it's like to have people make it a better experience, and they're happy and they're saying good morning and they're very cheerful, like that was a really nice contrast to what we've dealt with before with TSA. Like just dicks who don't even they just are on an ego power trip and think they run the whole airport, and you're like, dude, chill out. Yeah, it was overall a very great trip. Lots of fun experiences throughout the whole thing. Airports are so expensive. Everything in airports is crazy expensive. Like, even just like the gift shops and stuff, you're just like $30 for a t-shirt, like for a little tie-dye t-shirt, $30, that's crazy. It's not even like good quality either. It's just like a regular t-shirt. So inflation is crazy, but it was a great trip overall.
Do you have any more trips planned? Someplace you'd like to go, maybe?
None at the moment, but I will say in October, I do have that Ragnar race. And so we'll be in the hill country for Ragnar. That's always a really fun experience, because it's a relay race between, I believe, 8 people it's broken up in, and it's over the weekend. So one person is always running. There's never like a break where your team isn't running. So you even run overnight as well. And so I'm looking forward to that. It's been a few years since I've ran that, but that Ragnar in itself is such a cool experience, because you don't know it unless you're there experiencing it. Like, you don't shower, you sleep on a cot in a tent for the whole race. Like, it's a very, you kind of don't eat all weekend. You maybe munch on a few things.
You're just on your own, right? I mean, basically,
you are on your own. Yep. So when I ran it quite a few years ago, like one of my legs the first day was at 5 p.m. and it was so hot. I remember running, and it's trail running at that too. So like, you really do have to be paying attention or you'll eat shit on these rocks. And so my first leg was at 5 p.m. It was so hot, and I remember starting to see like the tunnel vision. And I was like, oh shit. Yes. So I was like, okay, drink water, electrolytes. My next one was at midnight, which was the coolest one, because of course, everyone starts together, but eventually there's different race paces, there's different runners. So like, you get broken up
pretty quickly, I'd imagine.
Pretty quickly.
I mean, no one really runs at the same pace.
Exactly. So like, my midnight race was really cool, because you didn't want to stop for one, because it's pitch black. They don't have lights set up in the hill country. Like, you're literally on someone's just property. There's no lights. I had a headlamp, but I had it around my chest.
Can I interrupt you real quick? Are you like on a trail by yourself, or is there like a van, a vehicle following you around?
You're just completely on your own.
So you're by yourself, no teammates, unless there's
your
another
teammates
runner.
are at the start. So when you get back to swap legs to hand off with someone, that's where your teammates are.
So you run big loops then?
Yes, big loops. There's 3 different tracks, and every person has to run all 3 of them. So, so it's a relay thing. But the midnight one was super cool because it was a lot colder. It was cool for that race, which felt good. But the adrenaline of like, if I stop a mountain lion, they fucking come up and snag me. So keep running.
Or if you're running, a mountain lion may fucking snag you.
Yeah. So that like kind of adrenaline rush, because you can't. I literally could only see in front of my body as far as the headlamp would shine. Yeah. So like you first off,
that's all your eyes will.
exactly, and you
Yeah.
have to be paying attention
Yep.
because you will eat it on those rocks. Like some
Yep.
parts you had to literally like stop and step down and then keep running. Man, I remember that was the race that I lost my grandmother's rings. I had them tied onto my shoes, and I lost them on that race on my last leg, actually.
And you still tie rings to your shoes.
And I still tie rings to my shoes. But yeah, that Ragnar. So that's coming up in October.
So how many? So what is each loop? So there's 3 loops you have to run each one.
One is like a 5 mile. The midnight one for me was the shortest, which I was kind of sad. I was sad about that. It was only like a little over 2 miles. And then the last one is like, I want to say like 6 or 7 miles.
So you're running 12, 13, 14 miles total.
Yeah, throughout the whole weekend, yeah. And it's pretty cool because everyone's out there, like, our team is specifically there for ALS, supporting ALS, and a couple of members on our team, they've lost siblings to ALS and stuff. So it's really cool to be there to support, research for, like that year specifically, we even had people that work in the labs on finding, cures for that disease and stuff like that. They actually were our helpers during the race. So like anything we needed, those were the people that would go get it for us. We need water, they go get it. We need new socks, they go get it. Like,
kind of assistance, race
yes,
assistance,
and so it was very cool to like also. I mean, they were scientists though. These people were literally scientists though.
Okay.
So it was very cool to like have an inside look of like what's going on in ALS, what's going on in the research, what's going on in the labs, what's actually happening.
all the developments they're suppressing.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And so.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just really cool, really fun experience. And so I do that again. That's my next race in October. My last one was the marathon. I saw that when I asked Ara about PantyNectar, she even said like, oh, and she just crushed a marathon, the Houston Marathon in January. And I was like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, ran my first marathon this year. I am officially. Couldn't walk for the next day, but did it. I remember I was in so much pain. Like I have a picture of just like me in bed with my thumb up and my eyes just like glazed over because I was just, the amount of pain, let me tell you, was like unreal. I couldn't even walk back to our Airbnb from they have it like around the George R. Brown Convention Center and stuff. And I was in so much pain. But that lasts like a day or two and then you're good. You're good to go. So, but I'm excited. So Ragnar's next in October. You guys will have to keep a lookout. I probably should start training for that and getting ready for that. Getting in running mode. I haven't done anything like that since the marathon. So it'll be fun to get back into things like that. You and I went for a run the other day and I died. I was like,
good,
this
though.
is insane. It did.
We've been pretty lazy. I have been pretty lazy and not running a whole lot. So felt good to get out there and stretch the legs and I'd like to start running more kind of out and going on. Like I have no desire to. It's weird. I have no desire to go and line up and fucking run a marathon where there's 10,000 people all there and stuff. But like the idea of going out and running through the countryside with a small group or something like that. Even like the Ragnar stuff, like that sounds like a totally different experience
it is,
too.
Yeah.
Like running, and when you start reading about running and like runners and like the groups and all that kind of stuff, there's like the trail runners, and then there's the whole other side, like the road runners. And like the trail runners fucking talk shit about the road runners because they think that the road runners can't hack it on and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, man, like running, and that's what the book Born to Run talks about. Like running is like innate in our human nature. It's in our DNA. We love to run, and we're conditioned to not like to run as we grow up. You know what I mean?
It's a punishment.
It's a punishment, especially when you get in school and sports and stuff
make
like
you
that. Going to make you run.
relax.
In football, you miss this play, or you drop the ball, or you do this. You're going to run a mile, or basketball, or soccer, whatever the case may be. And it's like,
I love running.
yeah, and
I can feel like my ancestors wake up when I run. I'm like, you can feel that stuff in your bones.
Yeah,
I just love it.
it's life. I mean,
love
like you can,
running.
yeah. And so, I'd like to start getting out. And even like in West Texas, like I think it'd be cool to go out there and like run through like Big Bend. Like Big Bend has, I mean, it's fucking huge in National Park, obviously, but like but just like the expansiveness of that area, that part of Texas, you know, and like just being out there with nature and like you were talking about being on the Pacific coast where you're at the coastline and it's this big beach and beautiful and it's different, but you're still against this massive ocean. I mean, the Pacific Ocean is the biggest, you know, body of water on the planet.
Yeah.
And by virtue, I guess, kind of the biggest thing on the planet. It's like just fucking huge. And of course, you don't see the whole thing as you're standing there. I think you can only see like 11 miles on the horizon or something like that. But still, the point being is that like you as a human, you're engulfed in all of this, and it's like natural and it feels good. And I think like, you know, I like to run. I don't run distances, but you know, the times that I've ran in different places, like I feel so much better just naturally and mentally and in my physical being running outside in a natural environment where it's like, as opposed to like running through the city and like city blocks and like you're on the sidewalk and there's people fucking coming past you and like there's someone there with their dog that's taking a fucking shit on the sidewalk. You're like, what is this? You know, like it's not fucking natural. You know, being out with this and nature and it's a lot more enticing to me.
I will give it to, you know, for my marathon, I bought a brand new pair of Hokas the day before at the
How'd you
expo.
like those?
I ended up, you know what's so funny is I only got them because my friend tried them on and I was like, oh, those are really cute. Let me also try a pair of those. And so I bought them and I wore them for their Clifton 9s, Hoka Clifton 9s. And I wore them for my marathon the next day, and they did outstanding. I have like never been more, and there was no like breaking in either. Like I don't even think I had blisters on my feet, honestly.
Crazy.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And that's a road race too.
Yeah.
So like you're on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's a lot more like strenuous
Impactful,
than running on a trail. But I was very impressed with those Hokas. I've ran in Hokas before, but not those Clifton 9s. I was extremely impressed with how well they held up. They were cushiony, and you know, sometimes when I am running longer distances like that, I'll start to feel my feet hurt. Like I can start to feel that stuff. I didn't feel my feet hurt one bit. My knees were the first things to go. At one point, I was like, because I know I've said this before, I think on the podcast as well, but we did like a 2-minute run, 30-second walk. And like that 30-second walk mentally does a lot for you, surprisingly. Yeah.
Like refreshes you?
Yes. And then you're like, okay, another 2 minutes, like get it. You'd be surprised you end up passing people that are running the whole time.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like a weird mental thing.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was like, we need to stop stopping and going.
Just keep it going.
Because my knees, like the pain was so bad, tears were just rolling down my face. And my mom was like, are you hurting? And I was like, yep, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to finish. Like, cause if I start thinking about how much I'm hurting, like it will get to me. But surprisingly, I did not start hurting till like mile 1920.
Dang.
And at that point you only have 6-7 miles left.
Dang.
So you can push through 6-7 miles. Yeah. And so,
After you made it that far.
Exactly. Yeah. Cause you're like, I'm already, which is surprising because I've never even practiced running anything over a half marathon before, which is just 13.1. So I was very nervous to see like what would happen when I passed that point. Would I get to mile 16 and my body start breaking down? Would I get to mile 20 and my body start breaking down? But thankfully, one thing that I think I really pride myself in is like my mental strength is very, like I can do tough shit. I just mentally know that I can. And so that's what I did when it started to hurt mile 1920. That's why I ran it with my mom, and I told my mom, we need to stop stopping and going. Like we need to either run or we need to walk.
Before your body just stops.
Yeah,
like completely
I honestly like went through a phase, like this is probably just a dumb runner thing, but I went through a phase where like for like a mile or two, I was pissed off. Like I was like, my fucking knees hurt. These people are dinging bells on the fucking side of the road. Like I was like starting to genuinely get upset because I was also like, why am I doing this right now? Yeah. Like I'm hurting so much and I know that I could do this.
Yeah. And you can also just stop.
Exactly. Yeah. So I went through like a mile or two where I was I was honestly very pissed off at all the happy people standing
Yeah.
with their signs on the side and ringing the fucking bells and yeah.
I think, that's one of my most favorite things about running is like the mental aspect of like the conversations you're constantly having with yourself. And one of those
Yes.
is like when it starts hurting, you're like, I can stop right now.
Yeah.
Like I can. Like I could just fucking stop running
Yeah.
and all this pain will go away.
Yeah.
Or then you also think, well, I have to push through it because I need to be better.
Yes.
And
One of the things that I always like keep in mind when I'm in situations like that is like I just remember David Goggins in his book Can't Hurt Me, just saying like no one's coming to save you, and I repeat that to myself. It sounds so silly and like kind of diabolical almost, but I literally repeat that in my head like, bitch, no one's coming to save you. Like keep fucking going. No one is gonna come take this pain from you. No one is gonna come finish this race for you. Like no one's coming to save you. Keep going. And that's something that really, also just because of like what I've been through in my life, like I just resonate so hard with that. And I'm like, you're fucking right. No one is coming to save me. Like keep going. So I don't know. I very much enjoy running, but I very much enjoy the challenging aspect of it. I like to see how much hurt I can handle and how much pain I can handle. I just enjoy that. In a lot of different aspects of my life, apparently.
David Goggins, he in his book Can't Hurt Me, he talks about that was what you picked up on the Noah's coming to save you. He also talks about when he's going through buds and SEAL training. They're on the boat teams. I think he was boat team 2 or something like that. And his thing was like, who's going to carry the boats? Mm-hmm. Like with his team, and they're in these competitions with these other guys
Teams,
going through through buds, and they're each boat team is a team, but they're also in competition with the other boat teams and buds, and they're trying to beat each other through whatever they're doing. And David's thing was that he would constantly say one of the things to motivate his crew was who's going to carry the boats. Mm-hmm. And as they have these fucking and for the instructors too, David's talking about getting in the instructors' heads of like, you can't fucking hurt me. He's like, I'll sit out here and die with this boat over my head thing,
What did he say? He's like, I wanted those instructors to go home and when their wives want to fuck them, I want them thinking about me the whole time.
Yeah.
How the fuck did boat crew 2 do that shit?
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't thought about that in a while, but I remember for maybe a year or two, like that would be one of the things, like when I get in a tough situation running mentally, this is all like internal stuff as you're out there, as I'm running 2 miles and I'm like a half mile in, I'm like, who's going to carry the boats?
Me.
Don't even have a sweat going on. It's like, but seriously, if you, I mean, it's like whatever that you can grab onto, I mean, something tangible in your little mind that can motivate you to push you through. And it's not even, we're using the metaphors for running, but this also extends out for anything.
Exactly,
It doesn't matter if it's your job or if
Tough
it's health, if
situations,
you need to eat better,
yeah.
relationships, like whatever it is that you can grab onto that. And David talks about little cookie jar type things that you can.
And one thing that I think like people also get stuck in is like, I think it's so easy, especially nowadays, to like become a victim. I think it's so easy to be like, oh, well, my ex-husband's this, or, oh, my friends are this, or, oh, I had somebody that cut me off in traffic, poor me, and like all this shit,
Or my parents sucked.
Exactly. Or I don't have time. Look, I just work. I don't have time to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, it is so easy, and I have fallen victim to it multiple times. It's very easy to sit back and become a victim, but I think there's even more glory and even more reward when you push past that and you do whatever it is, and you choose not to become the victim, because it's a very easy thing to do. Anyone can be a victim. I could sit here and cry. You could sit here and cry about being a victim of something, and I just think it's very easy for people to do. But when you challenge, I'm all about like challenging my mindset, my brain, like super challenging that. Those are both great books. Can't Hurt Me is a very good book, but if you're not into like the whole military thing, maybe like that's not really what you want to listen to. You're not interested in like hearing about buds and stuff like that. David Goggins also wrote a second book called Never Back Down, or Never Finished is what it's called. never finished or not finished, something like that. I'll look it up right now, actually. But that is an excellent book about what happened after he got out of the military. When you don't have a commander yelling in your face every day, or or you don't have that commitment of like, there's no other choice. Yeah. People kind of get lost in that. What do you do after you graduate and you're no longer the football stud? What happens then when the spotlight's not on you? Never Finished. Never Finished by David Goggins. Unshackle your mind and win the war within. And that's all about how he got into the races after the fact. He's been through multiple injuries, obviously, after the fact as well. And so that's a very good book as well.
Yeah, I think David does a good job of it, you know, talking about like victimhood and like if anybody could have been a victim throughout their life, it's David.
Absolutely.
You know, with everything that he went through as a kid and teenager and stuff, and with his family, with his mom, with his dad, and with him being, living in, moving to Indiana, he's a black guy, moving to Indiana into this all-white community, and, obviously the racism.
Yeah.
He was literally fucking illiterate because he didn't know how to read. And just all that he went through there, and to see what he pushed through and what he is today. And I think David is a really good example of, like, for all of us, one of the things that, like, I think, for me at least, when I get into my own little victim mentality that I sometimes do, we all do it, like when it's like, well, no one understands me. No one knows my story, or that this is like, no one fucking understands anybody's story. Everybody listening to us right now or watching this right now has a story. And everybody's story is just as compelling as the next person.
Yeah.
And everybody's, everybody has everybody has good things, everybody has bad things, but the point being is that, like, what I'm talking about here is everybody goes through hardships, and there is literally no one on this fucking earth that doesn't experience hardships. So if you, and with those hardships, you come to a point, it's a fork in the road, right? Like, are you just gonna fucking lay down and die and be a little bitch, or are you just gonna just like keep pushing and move through it and go on and do the best you can? And also, I was talking about like the LSAT test to go into law school the other day, and where they're talking about like, not some of the questions on there are not, it's not to find the right answer, it's to find the best answer.
Right.
Because there's not always a right answer.
That's true, yeah.
There's not always okay, we're at a fork in the road right here, if you go this way, you're going to die, and if you go this way, you're going to live this happy, prosperous life and be fucking, president of the United States or some shit like that. No, it's like you just got to make the decision, do the best you can, and keep rolling with it. But also realize that, like, you're not unique in your own suffering.
Yeah. And
that's kind of, it's concerning in a sense, if you will, to your ego to be like, oh, well, then no one's going to feel sorry for me if everybody else is suffering too. But it's also reassuring to yourself, to your real self, to know that, oh, everybody out here is going through this shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's going through some shit.
Yeah.
Then maybe my thing isn't so bad, and I can overcome it too. And the thing is, too, is like with what, we do, and we talk to so many people and have private conversations, and people DM us, and it's like your situation is not unique either, and as unique as you may think your situation is, there's other people going through that as well.
Yeah.
And so, and there's people who overcome it. And so just keep pushing forward in whatever it is. Don't feel sorry for yourself, And no, I think that to channel the Eckhart Tolle, where he talks about this too shall pass.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, this too shall pass, and there will be better days on the other side of it. And push yourself through like Goggins does, I think, and like he's taught us to do. And he talks about like when you overcome these things, like you're building callous, building character to yourself, to where next time you come across that, not a big deal. Go right through it. Boom. Next time. Then all of a sudden, these little issues that you made, they're not fucking issues at all anymore because you've moved on past that shit. Yeah. So.
Good stuff. Love David Goggins. Big fan of David Goggins. Just resonates so much with him, like having to keep the demons out and having to keep his mind busy and working hard and pushing past that, because it's very easy to fall into, like we said, the sorrow of of your life. Everyone, like we said, everyone has something. It's very easy to fall into, like, my mom was a drug addict, or my dad was an alcoholic, or this and that. And it's like, well.
Or I didn't have a mom and a dad, and I was raised by my grandma.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. So good stuff. You guys be on the lookout for all things happening PantyNectar. Lots of good things going. Ara was telling me all about it this morning in the car. Active.
Oh, you're doing a lot of car chats too.
I am doing a ton of car chats. I have been on X, on Twitter. If you guys follow PantyNectar, you know that I go live. I try to go live on there every single morning, but also throughout the day, I'll try to pop on there and chit chat with you guys. But love chit chatting with you guys on X. It's super fun because there's so many people on X. They're from all over the world. So it's very cool to communicate with everyone. And I was even speaking this morning about some spicy videos that went up yesterday on OnlyFans and Fansly, so you guys can head over and check those out as well. Huge discount running right now, so go check it out if you have been eager for more. That is the place to go.
Yeah, and be sure, I don't know where you're listening to this podcast right now, whether it's Apple or Spotify. Thank you so much for listening, but also we have it up at PantyNectar.com. Free, no sign up. Just go to PantyNectar.com, scroll down a little bit, and you'll be able to push play on the podcast, and you'll see the latest podcast. So it's always available and free right there at PantyNectar.com. So if you need to find a new home to listen to the podcast, or you just don't know where to find it, lost something, lost an app, but just go to PantyNectar.com and it'll be right there.
We're very grateful for you guys. Grateful for you guys that not only get on here and listen or stumble across us and listen, but also you guys that are all over X with your comments, all over Reddit with your comments and your upvotes. They mean the world to me. And I'm very grateful that I have this community. And if you are stumbling across, that phrase makes me laugh now. But if you, it just fell in.
I was perusing Reddit and stumbled across a pussy fucking spread. No, you clicked it.
But if you found PantyNectar via the podcast or via X, then you're here for a reason. I can confirm that because I believe that's what happens. I believe that you guys come across us for a reason, and I think that you stay for a reason. So I'm very grateful for you guys, very grateful for the community, and if you guys want to indulge in more, there is a ton that the PantyNectar community offers, even free stuff, all the way from Discord, TikTok, Nessa Bloom. You guys can follow Nessa Bloom on TikTok. Lots of fun stuff going on.
Yeah, people have asked me about the Discord. If the Discord link is discord.gg/PantyNectar. So if you just go to the search bar, discord.gg/PantyNectar. If you got the Discord app downloaded, then of course you can just go to add server. You know what I'm talking about. Just go to the PantyNectar server. You can add it right there. Or you can go to your phone, open up a browser, discord.gg/PantyNectar, and it'll take you there. And there's like 46,000 people there in the PantyNectar server. So it's a big community, and it's a lot of fun. So go check it out.
It's a ton of fun. So we will see you guys for the next spicy episode of the PantyNectar podcast. See you guys.
See ya.